It keeps raining, I'm gonna ignore the rain and just record. You do the same. I mean like ignoring the rain, not recording. In case that wasn't clear. Oh my god, I am so bad at this. Most people don't like the term fell off being used to describe their faves, and I understand why. No one wants to believe that their faves are no longer the hot, sexy girlfriend and K-pop stans' eyes are now wandering elsewhere, but I also think the reason why people cannot stand this term is because K-pop stans have a disease of using terms where they do not belong. So let's talk about falling off, what it is, what it's not, and which groups it applies to. When you say a group has fallen off in artistic reference, you are saying that there is a noticeable decline in the quality of their music consistently over a sizable period of time. Now, the term quality suggests that this is subjective. Only you and your taste can decide if a group has fallen off. However, I believe that people who use this term where it doesn't apply don't understand the three key phrases in this definition. Number 1, noticeable decline. Number 2, consistently. And number 3, sizable period of time. When and if a group checks all three of these, then you can say that they have fallen off in reference to your taste in music. However, if they don't check every single one of these boxes, then honestly, this group has not fallen off. Now, noticeable decline, let's talk about it. When and if a group starts to change the sound or the quality of their music, and the quality is noticeable, like extremely noticeable, then you can say we have a problem. I've loved everything Pixie put out up until Villain. Villain was my least favorite of their songs, and honestly, I just did not like it. I don't like the sound and the direction it's taking. It felt like it's just something that I didn't like. However, the decline is not massive and it is not noticeable. Another group I think applies here would be Dreamcatcher. I did not like Vision at all, and I did not like Villain. Ironically, they both start with V. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that in comparison to their previous music, there's definitely a decline in the quality of the music, but the decline is not noticeable. Therefore, it honestly doesn't apply, and I cannot say that they have fallen off. The second term is consistently. With Purple Kiss, I loved everything they released, and then Ma'am Ma'am happened, and I don't know why. It felt like they were trying to chase this girl crush, empty chorus sound mess, and I didn't like it. But they picked themselves up with Nerdy, so they're fine. So having one bad comeback is not falling off, it's called being normal. Most people don't seem to understand that you cannot have perfection every single time. There are groups sometimes that will release something you do not like. It's happened with my ultimate groups. I don't like Love Killer by Monster X. I hate Rookie by Red Velvet. I can't stand Adios by Everglow. Why Adios? Like, Adios aged so badly. I'm sorry. I said what I said. What I'm saying is that my faves also have had comebacks that I personally consider bad. But having one bad comeback does not mean that a group has fallen off. And I don't understand why as soon as a group releases one comeback a person doesn't like, the next thing you know, they say they have fallen off. If the falling off, if the bad comebacks are not consistent, then you cannot say that the group has fallen off. Looking at sizable period of time, people who say LE SSERAFIM and IVE have fallen off are clowns, and they are people who I will never take seriously, ever. LE SSERAFIM has one comeback and a debut. How does a group like that fall off? IVE has been around for like what, 2 comebacks, and all of a sudden people are saying that they've quote unquote fallen off? That's not falling off. That's 2 comebacks. As far as I'm personally concerned, it has to be at least 3 or more comebacks where you can say, you know what, this isn't good and this isn't working out. Also, if the music is aging badly consistently, I would say you should consider. I've also heard some people say you cannot consider a group as fallen off if you do not listen to their B-sides. And while I understand that, I think it is fair to consider that the purpose of a title track is to attract people to listen to the rest of the album. So if the title track cannot do its job, then what? what do we do? As far as I'm personally concerned, I think it is enough to look at their title tracks and consider them as fallen off. I mean, it is wise to consider B-sides, but most people don't look at B-sides if they don't like the title track. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just part of the standing experience. It had to be end of 2020, if not beginning of 2021, when I mentioned that Itzy was in trouble in terms of the direction of the quality of the music. They had one of two options. Either A, just get better Teen Crush concept music, or B, ditch it altogether because it was not gonna last. I said this for two reasons. Number one, a lot of people were seeing them as the leaders of the fourth generation, which was way too much hype than necessary because the other big companies had not even debuted their fourth generation groups yet. Not to mention the fact that I was looking at IZ*ONE, who was gonna disband soon, knowing that they'd go back to their companies and probably be in groups that would be popular, and lo and behold, I was right. Look at LE SSERAFIM and IVE right now, and look at the direction of music that they are taking and how obsessed people are with them. Not to mention that now we have aespa and New Jeans, and God knows what YG is hiding in their basement that will probably come out next year. So as far as I was concerned, to call them the leaders of the fourth generation was really dumb. Not to mention the obsession that people had with ATEEZ at that time, and then there was TXT. For people to even put that title on them so early was ridiculous in my personal opinion. The second reason why I said this is because Teen Crush concepts go one of two directions. Either A, they age like fine wine, or B, they age like milk. They don't really age like a packet of rice that has an expiration date of like 2-3 years from now. And with Itzy, I've noticed that either Teen Crush songs are really good or just really bad. When you ask people what their favorite title tracks from Itzy are, chances are they will say Dala Dala or Icy, both title tracks that came from their debut year in 2019. Fast forward into 2020, and now what you hear is Itzy being seen as the poster child for groups that do not age well, because for some reason their music just... A lot of people say that it's JYP's fault. Whether it's his fault or not, the point is the quality of their music is noticeably declining, and time after time it just keeps getting worse. People get polarizing views on whether their songs are good or not, but personally for me, there's a huge decline in their quality of music, and I can't tell you the number of times I've had people tell me they want to unstand Itzy because of how bad the quality of their music has gotten over the years. So as far as I'm concerned, Itzy definitely is the poster child for a group with songs that do not age well. It's been happening consistently and over a sizable amount of time. I think 2020 to 2022 and like, was it 3 or 4 comebacks is enough for me to say this group definitely has fallen off. A lot of the times when it comes to complaining about Blackpink's music, the complaint has always been the Teddy formula. The Teddy formula is ruining Blackpink, etc, etc. But I've never really seen the formula as an issue. In fact, I actually mentioned this last year that Blackpink was one of the only groups that makes mediocre music that is fun to listen to. So I've never really had an issue with the formula. What I had an issue with was the stalemate of the quality. I thought maybe if they changed their sound, it would be better, but listening to Love Sick Girls and Shut Down, it's still bad quality music. The quality of their music is nowhere near the quality of their music videos or their sets or their outfits. It seems like quality applies everywhere but the actual sound of their songs, and watching them break records with music like this shows just how privileged they are as a group, because it doesn't matter how bad their music is, it will be streamed. I still don't know how Lisa is breaking records with songs like Money and La Lisa. They're terrible. What some of the worst songs I have heard in K-pop 2022, and for some like fucking reason she's breaking records. And I think it's because YG is taking advantage of how popular they are and how their attention-starved fans are willing to do whatever it takes to stream their music to help them break records, because they just love them, I guess. And I just hate the fact that it seems so obvious that they are taking advantage of the lack of content that fans have and just how much they eat up and gobble anything that these girls do. And they're saying, you know what, doesn't matter what we release, as long as it is aesthetically pleasing and they see the music videos as pretty, they will just stream it. And yeah, I just don't like that. But looking at just generally the quality of their music, especially like after Kill This Love, it's terrible. I would go as far as to say that Pink Venom is the only good song that they've released in terms of title track since D4. Really, like truly. Chungha is an artist that is struggling to live up to the hype of a song that she peaked with. So Gotta Go was insane, one of the best, if not the best title track of 2019. The song was ridiculous, but ever since, it seems as if to keep up with that hype, she is struggling to do so, or the producers who are writing for her are truly struggling to do so. When you look at Snapping, which came right after Gotta Go era, it was really good, but it couldn't hold a candle to Gotta Go. And since then, there's been a massive decline in her music. She's had a few cute gems here and there, like Killing Me. Was Killing Me a title track? I don't know. And Play is nice to listen to every once in a while, but it is a significant drop in comparison to Gotta Go. And I just think that there's no way you can recreate that level of success. And that's really a double-edged sword, I believe, for artists who are able to do this. Because either you will try to recreate that success and succeed, or you will crash and burn the way Pentagon and Momoland did. So I don't know. I personally feel like for Changa's music, it's really hard to move on from Gotta Go era. Maybe that's personally my fault, but the quality of her music hasn't been as great, and the decline has been so obvious for me. Being able to make a song so good that would be considered like the best title track of the year comes with its consequences, and one of the consequences is the inability to recreate that success, unless you're like BTS or something. When I look at 127, sometimes I have a hard time believing that this is the same group that sang Boss. This is the same group that sang Kick It, because the recent music has been a complete dumpster fire. I mean, throw it in the trash, throw the whole group away, because for some reason, I don't understand why they're choosing this direction. I often tell the story of what happened with Sticker. I was looking forward to their comeback. I had just come from the grocery store and I was like, hey, you know what? Let me listen to this comeback real quick before I do anything. And when the song started playing, I'm not gonna lie, I thought my headphones were broken, and I'm not exaggerating. I thought it was just me, but then the same thing happened to other people. I literally turned my headphones off. I was willing to believe that there was something wrong with my devices than to believe that this was their actual song. And when I listened to it, I honestly didn't understand why. My sister often jokes that I over-exaggerate the way songs sound, and when I told her that this was bad, she thought that I was like messing around. And then I made her and my brother listen to it, and it was torture, to say the least. I don't understand why they chose this musical direction. I will never be able to understand it, because everything else they'd been doing before had been working well for them, especially in terms of ranking high in popularity. So I don't understand why they chose to go this direction at all. Listening to songs like Sticker, Two Baddies, One Porsche, which also, who the fuck even says that? I don't understand where this came from and why it is happening. I just know that it sounds bad, and it seems as if to me they're going to continue down this path. I don't think it's going to change, because one of the things I notice is that fans go out of their way to defend this music. And I mean, it's okay if they like it, but they can't accept that other people don't, and still go out of their way to like really stream this music to prove a point, which just sounds really dumb. Because once again, when you stream music like this, it only sends a message to the producers that you like it. And so I don't know what the purpose of the direction of their music was, but I just know that it is not working, and it absolutely sounds terrible. Please go back to making songs like Kick It, go back to Boss, go back to Superhuman. This is the same group that released Superhuman. Can you even believe that? I feel like with Momoland, they were trapped between a rock and a hard place, because this is the first time I believe that just natural, genuine hate for a group truly affected the way their music, or the direction the music took. The reason why I am saying this is because when they tried to recreate Boom's success with BAM, I think it truly affected the way people saw them. And that was a time when they were truly getting into a lot of controversy as a group. So I feel like it was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't moments. Regardless of what musical direction they took, they were still gonna get a lot of hate, which, by the way, K-pop truly owes Momoland a huge apology. And I feel like that, mixed with the fact that there were some internal things going on with the company, some members were leaving or being forced to leave, it's a whole mess that would need a completely separate video to talk about. But I feel like the decline of their music came from the fact that they truly didn't know what direction to take, because anything that they did was heavily criticized. Bam was criticized a lot for sounding exactly like Boom, but Momoland is not the first group that has tried to recreate the success of their previous songs ever. So the amount of hate that we're getting was mainly coming from all the other quote-unquote scandals that fans were making up, and I feel like that led to some level of confusion as to, okay, which direction do we go with this group? And with some of the popular members even leaving, made it worse. So I feel like it's one of those cases where I feel like it was truly out of the producers and the group's hands. They just got confused because the fans kept making it difficult for them. But obviously, all I can say is that the quality still sucks. It's really bad, and honestly, I wish it could get better because these girls have worked really hard to get to where they are right now, and I wish them the best. I really do, but the quality of their music is just not as good anymore. And I mean, it's not necessarily their fault, but it doesn't make it any better for me. I feel like personally my opinions to Luna should not count in terms of music because I've never been the biggest fan of their music. I think I like 2 title tracks, and one of them is actually from Odd Eye Circle. But one thing I've noticed circulating around their fans is the fact that the quality of their music declined, and it's all thanks to BBC. It seems as if the person Luna was working with to create the musical identity that they were supposed to have, including their storylines, etc., is no longer a part of working with them, and that is because the company has had problems managing their finances. It seems like they put a lot of money into Luna starting, but then for some reason they were not able to get that money back in terms of profits, etc. And that's what made it hard for them to keep some of the people that they were working with around. Therefore, they'd had to pick new people and the musical direction had to change. Now, personally, I like Paint the Town. It's one of my favorite 4th generation title tracks, but that's just me. But I see that there was massive disappointment amongst most Luna fans when that song came out because it was far from what Luna was used to doing, and it really didn't help captivate the true essence of the Luna that they have loved and known for a long time. So I think it's safe to say that Luna has fallen off, but it's not necessarily because of the producers, but because of the company forcing them to change directions because of how bankrupt or broke they've gotten. So it really sucks because I feel like when you've built a fan base on a particular musical identity and then trying to change it, but also the quality not being as good as it previously was, it's not a good idea. And it really sucks because I really do think that they deserve better as far as I'm concerned. This is why I mentioned that if Luna had won Queendom, I was gonna be happy because I feel like internationally they do have a really good fan base, but I also wanted them to be a little more popular in Korea so it could really help them out because regardless of how I feel about their music, they do not deserve to suffer for the sins of their company as far as I'm concerned. And I was kind of hoping that Queendom 2 would help propel them to that stardom in South Korea, but that didn't happen because Queendom 2 sucked. So Mamamoo is really upsetting for me. I got into Mamamoo during Egotistic era, and then we got Gogo Bebe after that and Hip, and despite my feelings about Hip, I just feel like it didn't age as well, but it was really good when it first came and it seemed really fun. And I mean, my sister plays that song on repeat so many times, but Aya was really the era where everything changed for me because the song was so bad. The message was beautiful, but the song wasn't it. And I also feel like I'm even having a hard time getting into the members' individual projects, except for Wasa. Wasa's individual projects have been amazing, and Sola has been getting better, but honestly, I cannot say that their music individually is as good. I don't know what it is, but Aya just felt so bland and boring, and especially the empty chorus really did not help. When it comes to Mamamoo, I'm kind of used to full choruses, so I don't know. Aya just was not hitting it for me, and I thought it would get better after that, but it didn't. Even up until their most recent comeback, everything just sounds so dull and lame, and I can't get into Mamamoo's music anymore. And another issue that I've had is also their B-sides. Their B-sides age so badly, and I don't know why. They sound so good in the first 1 or 2 listens, and then something happens, it just tanks. So for me, Mamamoo is definitely a group I can say is not aging well because their music overall is just not doing it anymore. I just don't like it. yeah, and that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me ramble about music. Please let me know groups that you personally believe fell off. And for crying out loud, if I see somebody saying IVE or La Seraphim, I will find you. I will find where you live. But in all seriousness, please just know that just because groups have fallen off does not mean that they cannot get back up. Falling off and dying isn't the same thing. So when a group falls off, there is a chance that they can get back up again. And the idea that falling off is a permanent thing is something that I do not like. I always believe that groups can get better over time. When and if they do, people should at least recognize it and talk about it. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below which groups that you personally think have fallen off. We can have a chat about it in the comment section. Please don't kill each other, okay? It's fine to have a difference of opinion. It's okay. Just don't hurt each other. Until the next time, I'll see you then. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Tenga, 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 tenga.